All right, why are they not listening to you? Why are they not following you? You're probably missing some really important steps. Watch closely as you learn how, as a leader, to inspire others. As a leader, you have a group of people, or maybe it's even your family, or maybe it's at work. You got this opportunity to be able to literally inspire people to take action. But for some reason, they're not taking action. What's missing? Was it the way that you said it? Was it the way that you explained it? But you're wondering, well, how do I do this so that I can actually inspire all these people to get in on what it is that you're talking about? My mind goes to those parents who try to get their kids motivated to help at the house, or that business owner who's trying to get their team to support the company goal. Why is it that some people are able to inspire others and why some don't? Like, what's missing? What are the components that are missing? Well, if you're wondering what it is that you're missing, I bet you it's in one of these 5 different suggestions here I have for you. Over the years of holding events and speaking at seminars and workshops and being able to have the chance to inspire people to take action, I've had a lot of experience doing this, over 5,500 presentations. I've been in front of audiences that didn't take action, and I've been in front of audiences that took massive action. And I figured out what works and what doesn't work. So here's 5 suggestions for you of what to do to be able to reach in and inspire those individuals. Now, the first is to be able to actually explain the opportunity, the problem, or the challenge. Sometimes we think inspiring people to take action means telling them what to do. But if people don't know the opportunity, the problem, or the challenge, if they don't know what that is, then they don't see a reason to even get up and get moving to be part of it. Now, being able to describe the problem or the challenge or the opportunity, it takes gathering the information, telling the story, and expressing all the components of the story. And even though you might be in a situation where you're talking about the problem, it doesn't mean that you're a doomsday person by only bringing up the problem that you're sharing. Many people, when they can see that you can explain the opportunity, the problem, or the challenge, when they see that you can explain it in detail, they find interest in listening to you. It's not all about just the steps to take, but they want to know that you, as a leader, actually can see the whole big picture about what it is that they would be taking action towards. The second part is for you to be able to explain your solution or the idea. Now, it seems like that's where you should start, talking about the idea or the solution. But that's not where you start. And that's where a lot of people make their mistake is they start with number 2 and they don't even address number 1. Once you describe the problem and the opportunity, then you pose your ideas. Then you pose what ought to be done. Now the people are going to ask themselves the question, well, why should we take action on this? And this is where you get to be super passionate. This is where literally the purpose, the passion, and the vision really comes out. And for you to be able to answer the question that's in their mind, why? And then you answer the question, why now? It's the question that's going to happen inside of their mind. It's very natural. When you begin to express at the very beginning what you're talking about, they're going to wonder, okay, what is this that we're working on? And what is your big idea? And why should we work on it? And why should we work on it right now? So knowing psychologically what the questions are that are going on inside the people's minds, you can answer those in the order that they're coming up inside of their thought process. Children do the exact same thing. But Mom, why do I have to clean my room? And why do I have to do it now? So instead of waiting for them to pose the questions that are written here, you already know that's the form of conversation that you're going to have. But if you could pre-think this out of why and why now, you can actually beat them to the question in their mind. And that is a true leader. When you're literally answering the questions just as the questions are coming up inside of them. The next step that they're going to want to know is, well, where do we start? Once you give them the why and the why now, and now they're convinced or enrolled into taking action, they got one last step that they're not knowing what it takes, and that's the first step. A mistake I see that leaders make is they lay out the 20-step process. There's all these steps, and over the next 2 years, this is what we're going to do. People can't think that far. They don't think that far. What they're really wanting to know in great detail is, what is the very first step we got to take? And if people can clearly see and clearly understand that first step, well, now they're in. But if you go too far in the number of steps or too complicated in the steps, you'll lose them right here at the end. And so remember, at the very end, when it's time to announce that first step to your children, your team, the people at the office, that you break that steps down into very, very simple instructions. And you might be thinking, well, that's too simple. I need to make it more adult or more professional. You'll lose people. You will lose them. And if you want more people enrolled and more people on your team to take action, you get to learn how to teach and lead in simple steps. The more simple it is, the higher number of people will be able to take action on it. And you know probably what's really frustrating is when half of the team gets it and half of the team doesn't. And you've wondered as a leader, what did I do wrong? How come they're not listening? Well, when you have half the team in and half the team not, it's because of the way you described the first step, or the way that you described the why or the why now. You lost them somewhere. So as you go to explain these 5 steps to your team, and you go are the group of people you're working with to inspire, remember that the more simple it is, the more memorable it is. Simple is memorable. Simple is memorable. And if it's complex, it's confusing. Complex can be confusing, but simple is memorable. Because once they start to take action, and they go to take this first action step, as they're taking action, they're going to bring the question up in their mind, why are we doing this now? And they'll be able to refer back to, oh yeah, I remember why we're doing this now. And what was the reason why we're doing this? And what is this going to solve? And what problem are we solving? So a great leader knows that to tell the story in this order, when your team starts to take action, they actually begin to reverse engineer it in their mind. And if they have the answers of each one of these inside their mind, because that's the way you explained it, they'll stay motivated. But if you don't have those answers, and they start to take steps, and they're wondering why are they doing it now, and they can't remember, then they slow down or they quit. And if they don't remember at all why they're doing this, then they start to do literally other things. And they're not taking action on what you're hoping to inspire them to take action on. But it's great to know the way the mind works and how to speak to your team so you can inspire them to take action. Here at 3 Key Elements, what we like to do is train and teach you and everyone else how to communicate better so that we can have those projects finished and have progress move forward. Because when there's progress and goals are reached, everybody's happy. And when there's great communication, everybody enjoys the process. But when there's bad communication or miscommunication, then it's just a frustrating experience all along the way. So don't miss out on our next video that's going to be coming to you. Subscribe to our channel here so that you can receive additional training on the important parts of life. Because just like your business, your team, and your family, it all matters. And I think it's time to up-level that education.